What's up guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to go over 10 Marvel and DC superheroes that turned evil. Coming in at number 10, we have Iron Man. If you're a big fan of the Marvel comics, then you have probably already heard of the supervillain Kang the Conqueror. Kang is a time traveler, and his future self is known as Immortus. The Crossing is a very complicated story arc that involves Immortus discovering a weakness in the neural link between Tony Stark and his Iron Man armor. He begins to manipulate Tony's mind and causes him to murder 3 Avengers. He probably would have killed even more people if his teammates had not helped him snap out of it. In the story, a teenage Tony Stark from another timeline was brought in to help stop his future self. He eventually replaced him after the old Tony commits suicide to stop Immortus. Later on, Franklin Richards merged a reborn Tony Stark with his alternate teenage version. Number 9, Sinestro. He may be seen as Hal Jordan's worst enemy, but there was a time when these two characters were considered friends. Before he went rogue, Sinestro was a member of the Green Lantern Corps, and he was chosen because of his honor and fearlessness. When Hal received the Green Lantern ring, Sinestro was assigned to be his instructor. At the time, he did not know that Hal would eventually become the greatest Green Lantern. Sinestro wanted to protect his planet, but he ended up becoming a dictator who abused his lantern powers. When the Guardians of the Universe found out, they took away Sinestro's ring and sent him to the antimatter universe. Ever since then, he has been the arch nemesis of Hal Jordan because he decided to testify against him. After he was banished, Sinestro met up with some people and they made him a yellow ring based on the power of fear. Number 8, Cyclops. Some people believe that Marvel made a big mistake when they decided to give Scott Summers a very dark storyline. They basically assassinated his character and everything he stood for in the mid-80s. It all started when he mourned the loss of Jean Grey and ended up marrying a woman named Madeline Pryor. They had a son named Nathan Summers, also known as Cable, after finding out that Jean is still alive. Scott leaves his family behind so he can return to his first love. In order to save Nate's life, Scott merged with Apocalypse and his life was forever changed. He began an affair with Emma Frost and forces Xavier to leave the school. When he was possessed by the Phoenix Force, Scott killed Professor X and remade the world into a totalitarian state. Number 7, Superboy Prime. In this story, Jor-El sends his son to Earth Prime, which is a world where superheroes like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman exist only in comic books. A family with the surname Kent found the baby and they decided to name him Clark. When Clark became older, he helped save the universe in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Superboy from Earth Prime was sent to a paradise dimension with Golden Age Superman, Earth 2 Lois Lane, and Earth 3 Lex Luthor. Superboy was very frustrated because he was only able to view Earth 1, but was not allowed to be a part of it. One day, he began punching the barrier of reality and eventually breaks through the wall. He pushed planets out of orbits and destroyed the Watchtower of the Justice League. Also, he killed several members of the Teen Titans and Doom Patrol. Finally, Superboy Prime was imprisoned by the Guardians of the Universe. Number 6, the Winter Soldier. Bucky's death during World War II left Captain America feeling very upset and guilty, but it was only a matter of time before he found out that his best friend was still alive. Steve had a very difficult time accepting the fact that the Winter Soldier was actually Bucky. Hydra took away all of his memories and gave him a new metal arm. Also, they kept him in suspended animation between missions, which is what allowed him to roughly age the same amount as the modern Steve Rogers. It took a very long time, but Captain America was finally able to restore his friend's memories and true personality by using the power of a cosmic cube. Although Bucky is no longer brainwashed and is now one of the good guys, he's still not the same person he once was. Number 5, Scarlet Witch. In 2004, Wanda Maximoff had a breakdown and nearly destroyed the Avengers by launching a magic field attack on them. Many Avengers were killed, including Ant-Man, Hawkeye, and Vision. Also, the Avengers Mansion was completely destroyed and she made mutants an endangered species. The reason why Wanda was so angry is because she found out that the twin boys she had with her husband were just magical constructs and that her friends erased all of her memories of them. This story was called Avengers Disassemble, and it basically led to the launch of a new Avengers in 2006. Of course, there was no way Marvel would allow their characters to stay dead forever, so everyone that died and disassembled was eventually restored in life in other titles. Also, Wanda's kids were brought back to life in Young Avengers. Number 4, Red Hood. During the 80s, Jason Todd was not popular at all, and most fans preferred Dick Grayson as Robin. Some people didn't even like Jason because they thought he was just an arrogant kid who never listened to Bruce. DC allowed readers to decide if Jason should live or die, and by a very small margin, death was the decision. Almost every fan fell in love with him when he came back as Red Hood. He became the antagonist of Batman because Jason felt like Bruce betrayed him by not killing the Joker for putting him through so much torture. Since Jason knows that it is impossible to end crime, he tries to control it by gaining control over various gangs in Gotham City. Also, he starts a one-man war against Black Mask criminal empire. In the New 52 universe, he assembles a team of anti-heroes known as the Outlaws. In Rebirth, he is starting to have a better relationship with Batman and tries his best to avoid killing people. Number 3, Green Lantern. Hal Jordan may be the greatest Green Lantern to ever exist, but in the mid-90s, he was their worst enemy. After the destruction of his hometown, Coast City, Hal tries to take away his pain by using the Green Lantern ring to recreate the city. The Guardians of the Universe tell him that he is violating one of their rules because lanterns are not allowed to use their rings for personal gain. In order to permanently recreate Coast City, Hal decided to go to planet Oa so he can take all the energy from the main power battery. He killed many members of the Green Lantern Corps. Also, he ended up killing his biggest enemy, Sinestro. He continued to violently kill people until he was eventually shot by Green Arrow. It turns out that the reason why Hal was acting like this is because he was under the influence of the fear entity Parallax. This is considered one of the most controversial comic book events in superhero history. Number 2, Jean Grey. If you watch X-Men The Last Stand, then you know that Jean Grey is definitely considered one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. As many people know, Jean has spent most of her life struggling to control her powers. Under the influence of the Dark Phoenix, Jean became an unstoppable killing machine. In the Dark Phoenix saga, Jean consumed the sun, which blew up a solar system and killed a world filled with aliens. Originally, Marvel was going to take away Jean's powers, but Jim Shooter didn't think it was morally right to let her stay alive after committing mass murder. In 1980, Marvel took a big risk by killing off Jean. Also, in the X-Men story called Here Comes Tomorrow, Jean kills many aliens. But in the end, she erases that from the timeline when she becomes the White Phoenix of the Crown. Number 1, Superman. It's hard to imagine him as a bad guy because he was always putting others above himself. But for some reason, there are so many storylines that involves him joining the dark side. Many people consider Injustice the best evil Superman story of all time. In an alternate reality, the Joker killed millions of people by destroying Metropolis with a nuclear weapon. Also, he tricked Superman into killing Lois Lane and their unborn child. Superman decided to kill the Joker and establish a new world order in the form of a unified world government. This caused a war between the forces of Superman's regime and Batman's insurgency. It took 5 years for Batman's insurgency to discover that there's another universe where Joker's plan failed. In order to stop Superman's regime, they teleport that world's Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Green Arrow, and Green Lantern into their world. As always, thanks for watching the video, guys. We hope you all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter @Valenplana, and I'll see you all later.